Hello, I'm Rich Acosta with My City is My Home, here to review the issues we believe contribute to the rise in property taxes. This is our second video to go along with a video that went over two property tax proposals that we are asking the city of San Antonio to consider, as well as the Texas legislators. All this to address property tax reform. You can find our property tax proposals on mycityismyhome.com. Here we have a video that breaks down the details, and also on the site is a survey to get your support on these policies. From the surveys, we got a lot of feedback, mostly of those asking who we should be blaming for rising property taxes. Do we blame Texas legislators? Do we blame the county appraisal district, the city council members and county commissioners, the schools? How about homeowners? Do they shoulder any of the blame? So here is going to be a quick review on where we see the problems lie. Texas legislators set the rules on how property taxes will be applied under the Texas Property Tax Code. And in it, it sets some limits on how long taxing agencies like cities and counties can exempt all or part of property value increases. The Property Tax Code says the tax rate must be applied to the full appraisal value minus exemptions, but property owners like landlords don't have any exemptions, which drives up rents. So what we need the Texas legislators to do is reform the property tax code to allow cities and counties and other taxing entities to address the increasing property tax values. So since we're talking about values, of course you're thinking of the county appraisal district. They're the ones that set the values. Though they're called the county appraisal district, the county commissioners have no power over them. They're responsible to the state of Texas and follow the property tax code. One of their weaknesses, though, is that they can't see inside of your homes. So that's why we need to protest our property taxes every year. But there is more things that the appraisal districts can do, like refining their process of getting comparables. We find that the county uses unequal comparables, like comparing one stories to two stories. In real estate, if a buyer is looking for a one-story home, they might not even be in the market of two stories whatsoever. We find that a lot. We also find that homeowners pay more for a one-story on average than a two-story home. So it's not fair to compare those two, as well as they'll compare a two-bedroom house to a three-bedroom house. And we want to have them address how they calculate their land values. When there's no vacant land in the area, we'll often see the values of the land very expensive compared to the improvements. We've even seen it where the land value is more than the home so-called improvements. But in real estate, you're selling the house with the land, and it's so difficult to argue with the county when trying to adjust your property taxes when there's not much you can do about that land value. So we really would like them to address how they calculate their land value. But other than that, there is things that the cities and counties can do. So the city and counties can only adjust the tax rate according to the tax code. Of course, they can also do homestead exemptions and other exemptions, but again, it's very limited to what they're able to do. As you can see here, there's a whole bunch of different taxing agencies that tax my home, where I live in San Antonio, the north side of town. You can see here that we have the River Authority, Alamo College, the Universal Health System, Bexar County, the City of San Antonio, Northside ISD. All these different agencies tax us, so they can go through and lower their tax rate. But if the values are not capped, it doesn't matter if they lower it, because your tax bill will continue to increase. So we need the city and the county to push for reform. Just looking at the values in the past 10 years, we can see that there's been an increase of San Antonio's total property value at 86%. So if you hear the city or county say that they're giving exemptions and it hurts the revenue growth, Also know that we can see here that with all those exemptions, the property tax revenue has increased more than 81%. So they'll do just fine if we can find more ways to lower the property tax payments that all homeowners have to pay. People want to talk about schools. Hey, schools is one of the biggest tax rates that are charging us in our property taxes. But a lot of that has to do with the Texas legislators not giving enough funding to our public schools. As we can see here, revenue that they're providing our public schools is either stagnant or lower. It's not really increasing at all. And so that puts more strain on schools having to get revenue from our property taxes, since the state legislator is decreasing the amount in our public schools. So we need to push our state legislators to fund our public schools and really take care of our children. Homeowners also share some of the blame. Less than 20% of home property owners protested their property taxes on average. We need way more homeowners protesting their property taxes. I mean, this is when you don't protest, you're telling Bexar County they're doing a Bexar County appraisal district, that is, they're doing a great job, they're valuing your home correctly, and you have no problems with it, which we know that's not the case. So please consider protesting your property taxes. There's over 50,000 homeowners throughout Bexar County that have not applied for their exemptions. These are two things we should be doing. We should be ensuring that our homeowners have their homestead exemptions. And if protesting your property taxes is too difficult, My City is My Home will protest your property taxes on your behalf for free for low-income homeowners. And we have a small fee for everyone else, which helps that funds this nonprofit. So save money on taxes, and support, I hope you would agree, would go to a good cause. And of course, push for reform, which we have two property tax proposals that we hope we would get your support on. And we have one more issue that homeowners can shoulder a little bit of blame for: NIMBYism, right? So NIMBYs, not in my backyard. What I mean when I say NIMBYs are communities that do not already have low income housing in their area, but still push out any projects that would bring in low income residents in their areas for the sole basis that they are poor. Of course, there's arguments of crime. This assumes that all low income people are criminals. 27% of our poverty in San Antonio are senior citizens and households with children. Where are they going to go? There is very little, if any, housing options if in San Antonio, especially if you make less than $1,500 a month. Good luck finding housing. We're in the business of helping low-income renters find housing, and I send senior citizens, disabled veterans, often weekly, to shelters because there's nothing available out there. 20% of our city is in poverty. And when I speak of affordable housing, I'm thinking of people that are making less than $30,000. I'm thinking of the senior citizens, the disabled persons surviving off of Social Security, many getting less than $1,000 a month. We need more income-based housing. And every time we as a community says no to housing projects, we are contributing to the lack of supply. We do not have enough housing to keep up with the population growth, which is a major contributor to the rising values, supply versus demand. Our growth and our property development growth is very low at 4% in the last 10 years. And in that same period, we have a 30% growth in population size. So again, looking at those numbers, we are drastically not keeping up with supply and demand. And we forecast that everyone's property taxes will be doubling in the next 10 years. So we need to find more ways to increase supply, and that will help out with our rising property taxes, because with more supply, then more buyers have more options, and there's more competition in the market, which lowers the total value. And so that way, our property taxes are not increasing as much. All this and more is why we have two property tax proposals. The first proposal is to provide a tax rate discount for any given year when the San Antonio's total real property value increases above a certain percent. And our second proposal is to freeze all real property values and only allow an increase of the property value when the property ownership changes. That one requires the property tax code to be adjusted, so we need the Texas legislators to do this, and we're asking the city of San Antonio to help advocate for this. You can find details of these proposals and information on mycityismyhome.com, and we need your voice, so please do the survey, which is in the link of this video, our website. So please do the survey and show your support, and thank you very much.